Hello, everyone. Do you hear me?
Yeah, clear.
Okay, so welcome everyone to this final presentation event. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, do you see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Beatriz Gallego and I work in Atos. I'm a cybersecurity researcher with more than 10 years of experience working in Atos in the Research and Innovation Group. And I'm going to introduce you to the project DEFeND. This introductory session presents the DEFeND project and its main outcomes. The presentation is structured into two main blocks. In the first block, I'm going to provide you some facts about the project. I will tell you about the objectives, the strategy, and the pilots. And then in the second block, I will tell you about the main outcomes of the project, which are the 5 DEFeND Gdpr services and the DEFeND integrated platform. Okay, so this is the project DEFeND in facts. So the DEFeND project is an innovation action funded by the European Union Horizon 2020 Research and Innovation Programme. In the topic DS08, Cybersecurity PPP, Privacy, Data Protection and Digital Identities topic. The project started on the 1st of July of 2018, and it was originally planned for a duration of 30 months, but we requested an extension of 3 months to finalize the activities. So now the end of the project is scheduled by the end of March, by the 31st of March. The project received a grant amount of more than 2.7 million euros and is executed jointly by a partnership of European industries, universities, and public organizations. And the DEFeND consortium is composed by 10 partners that you can see in the map distributed across 8 European countries. Now about the objectives of the project. The main objective of the project is to deliver an innovative platform for data privacy governance that will support the organizations in achieving GDPR compliance, facilitating activities such as data scoping, data processing of personal data, and breach management. This main high-level objective is decomposed into 7 project objectives. The first one is the design and development of a market-oriented platform addressing the real needs of the organizations towards the GDPR compliance. The second objective is to develop a modular solution where each module will cover a specific set of aspects of GDPR. The third objective is to provide automation through methods and techniques that will support the organization in the analysis of the data held from individuals. The fourth objective is the use of advanced modeling languages and methodologies for privacy by design and data protection management. The fifth objective is to support the specification, management, the enforcement, and the monitoring of personal data subjects' consent. The sixth objective is to integrate tools for encryption and anonymization. And the last one, the seventh objective, is the validation of this platform through the deployment of the platform in 4 TRL7 environments. So how can we meet these 7 objectives? We develop a strategy that is structured into 7 main pillars. The first pillar is the user engagement. We have been engaging with various stakeholders from the very beginning of the project to define, for example, the requirements and the service specification activities. Also, we have engaged with end users in the pilot's deployment and validation, and also in the training activities. The second pillar is the tools innovation. Since the DEFeND project is an innovation action, the project builds upon existing software technologies and tools that has been extended and adapted to address the DEFeND requirements. We have integrated 11 tools that have been extended. 9 tools were coming from partners and 2 were open source. The third pillar is the technical integration. After these tools and software were extended and refined to address the GDPR requirements, it was developed the appropriate interfaces and the linking mechanisms in order to integrate all of them. First, we integrated them into 5 software services, and later we integrated into a single software platform. The fourth pillar is the evaluation and testing. We have implemented and executed a clear set of evaluation and testing activities undertaken by different project stakeholders to assess different requirements and the various outputs of the project across different perspectives. We have implemented functional testing, security testing, legal compliance testing, and also the end user's validation of the usability and usefulness of the platform. The fifth pillar is the training. The training activities in itself represent an important added value to the project. They were based on a deep analysis of each of the end user's role and their needs to create targeted training modules tailored on each organization. The sixth pillar is the piloting. The platform has been deployed in 4 real-life pilots. This is an important step to release a solution that is validated and ready for the market uptake. And the last one is the business and commercialization plans. We have developed clear business and commercialization strategies based on preliminary business plans and considering the current market situation and the feedback that we have received from stakeholders. As I told you before, we have developed the platform and deployed it to be validated into 4 pilots. The DEFeND platform is tested in operational environments, aiming to achieve a maturity of the platform on TRL 7. The 4 pilots are listed here. You can see here that we have an energy sector pilot, which is represented by an SME company in France, which is Gridpocket. On the banking sector, we have deployed the platform and validated by an association of banks in Italy, which is Abilab. On the healthcare sector, we have deployed and validated the platform in a public institution from Spain, which is the Hospital Niño Jesús in Madrid. And the last pilot is on the public administration sector and is represented by the municipality of Pestera in Bulgaria. Now I'm starting with the second part of the introduction, focusing on the project outcomes. So one of the main outcomes of the project are these 5 GDPR services that are listed here. So you can see here the data scope management service, the data process management service, the data breach management service, GDPR planning service, and the GDPR reporting service. The data scope management service supports the organization in the identification and analysis of the GDPR scope of the organization. It also supports the management of data processing activities, the organization structure, the services and assets, and also the data that is managed by the organization. And also this first service supports the organizations in the management of third parties. The data process management service supports the organization in the design, implementation, and monitoring of the data privacy requirements and mechanisms. For example, within this data process management service, we have functionalities to support the privacy by design, the development of data control policies, and also integrates encryption and anonymization tools. The data breach management service supports the organization in handling privacy incidents, the analysis of data breaches, and the notification and response in accordance to the GDPR requirements. The GDPR planning service supports the organization in the identification, assigning, monitoring the actions that are needed in order to reach GDPR compliance, and also supports the organization in implementing a continuous improvement process. The GDPR reporting service supports the organization in the creation, the storage, the management, the visualization of compliance reports, and also supports the documentation of all these requirements. So in this slide, you can see how the 3 management services, the data scope management, or DSM for short, data process management, or DPM for short, data breach management, or DBM for short, support the different articles of the GDPR. You can see that the platform is offering through these 3 services support for the organization at the planning level and also at the operational level. The second major outcome of the project is the DEFeND platform. The DEFeND platform integrates these 5 GDPR services that I was describing before and that are represented in the figure with different colors here. In addition to these 5 services, you can see some supporting services that the platform offers in order to provide orchestration and coordination of the services. It also provides functions for the storage of the documents and the data in a common data layer. And then it also implements security requirements for the platform and provides APIs for the interaction of the platform with other systems of the organization. Last but not least, we have at the top of the platform, we can see the DEFeND dashboard, which is the graphical user interface and is the main entry point for the end users in order to benefit from the DEFeND functionalities. I'm going to tell you about the DEFeND dashboard in more details later. The DEFeND platform is offered through 3 different modes. The as-a-service mode, this is where the platform is hosted in the cloud, and the organization users will access to the DEFeND functionalities through their own accounts. One main benefit of this approach is that it requires a minimum setup and configuration of the platform. And a drawback is that not all the functionalities are offered through this mode. The second option is the on-premises deployment of the platform. The platform in this case is delivered to the organization as a software package to be installed and configured in a server that the organization has full control of. The organization can configure and customize the platform in this case as they prefer. In the third mode, which is the hybrid deployment, this is a convenient mode that combines the other 2 modes. The core of the platform is hosted in the cloud and maintained by the DEFeND provider. In the same case as in the as-a-service mode. Then some tools and services that require to be installed and run in the organization IT infrastructure synchronize with the core platform in the cloud. Here you can see the DEFeND dashboard. The dashboard is organized into 12 themes. These 12 themes are grouping functionalities offered by the 5 GDPR services. These functionalities are thematically related, and this is why the functionalities are offered through these 12 different themes. So you can see here that the different services are behind each of the themes. So for example, the DSM service implements the functionalities of 7 themes. The DPM service is behind the functionalities offered by these 4 themes, marked in green. The GDPR planning service functionalities are offered through this theme number 1, and the DBM is behind the theme 4 and the theme 12. And then the last one, which is the GDPR reporting, offers different functionalities that are distributed across the majority of the themes. The DEFeND platform supports 4 different roles, user roles: the privileged, regular, auditor, and third party. The privileged role will have access to all the functionalities, and it is usually assigned to a DPO or privacy responsible person in the organization. The regular role it doesn't have access to all the functionalities, but usually has access to the majority of the functionalities of the platform. The auditor role is the third role that will have access mainly to reports and information, just to audit and check that the compliance of the platform of the organization is achieved. And then the last role, which is the third party, has only access to limited set of functionalities, mainly to the theme number 2 and a subset in the theme number 1. And now I'm going just to show you the DEFeND dashboard in the live platform. So just give me 1 second. Okay. So do you see, Camilo, do you see the platform well? I will probably need to log in again.
Yeah, I can see, we can see it.
Okay, yeah. So I need to log in again because the session expired. So we have integrated the platform with a single sign-on application. And now we can go to the main page, which is showing all the 12 themes. You can see the 12 themes because I'm logged in with a privileged user. Oops, sorry. Sorry. Okay, now. So the first theme is developing a GDPR privacy plan. And this supports the organization in conducting a GDPR self-assessment of the organization, the identification of personal data processing activities, the identification of the GDPR compliance status and of the organization and the development of an action plan, and the generation of reports for GDPR readiness and action plan. The second theme, which is the creation of a third-party management program, supports in the management of data processing contractual documents in relation with the organization and the third parties, to manage the third parties, to monitor and audit third parties, and the generation of reports related to the third parties management. The theme number 3, managing rights of data subjects, supports the organization in the management of workflows that allows them to handle data subject requests, and also provides functionalities to monitor and document the data subject requests. Now the theme number 4, managing privacy incidents and data breach notification, supports the organization in the management of security and privacy incidents, management of data breach notification and communication. So you can see here that you can supports the organization in the communication with data subjects, notification to the authorities, and also to the responsible person. Now the number 5 is the implementation of privacy by design and privacy engineering. This theme supports the organization in the implementation of the data protection by design methodologies and privacy measure implementations. Theme number 6 is about the data identification, and this theme is supporting the organization in the implementation of methods and techniques for the encryption, anonymization, and pseudonymization. Theme number 7, it's about the reporting, mainly meeting regulatory reporting requirements. So here we have grouped audit reports and reports related to the supervisory authority. Theme number 8 is focused on international data transfers and supports in the management of and monitoring of international data transfer or the transfer of data outside the economic European area. The theme number 9 supports in the creation of data inventory and maps. From this theme, the organization can manage the organization structure, can manage the assets and the services and the personal data that is processed by the organization, including management of data retention policies, the legal grounds, and the data access permissions. Theme number 10 is related to privacy risk assessment, privacy impact assessment, and data protection impact assessments. Theme number 11 is related to the management of user consent and support the organization in the creation of templates for consent forms, templates for that, also the validation of these consent forms, and the management of the collected user consent. And the last one is the number 12 that supports in the selection of appropriate technical and organizational security measures. So from this menu, the organization can work with reports on the appropriate personal data measures that has been implemented by the organization, and also on the report on the data breach identification and all the process that has been followed by the organization in the analysis of the data breach, the severity, etc. And now I'm finished. I'm going to give the floor to my colleagues, Andrea, Narita, Luis Miguel, and David, that are going to do a live demo.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your complete project introduction, Beatrice. Now, as already said by Bea, we are going to pass the floor to Andrea Praetano. Now, as per our agenda, we are going to have a live demonstration of our platform. This is split into sessions. The first session is managed by Matic Mind experts, Andrea Praetano, that is also the security officer of the project, and Anarita Iodice. Luis Miguel Campos, that represents PDM, will run together with David Ferrandez the second part of the live demonstration. Please, Andrea or Anarita.
Do you see my screen now?
Yeah.
Anarita, can you start?
Okay.
Please.
Thank you, Camillo. I am Anarita Iodice, and together with Andrea Praetano, we are in the Matic Mind team of the DEFeND project since the beginning of the project. We will present the general concept of the DEFeND platform for the team one related to the management of data processing activity, mainly focused on the Article 30 of the GDPR. And then we will move to the live demo of the platform. So the name of the team one is developing a GDPR privacy plan. The GDPR privacy plan functionality of the DEFeND platform will enable an organization to visualize their GDPR readiness. In general, the first step for an organization is to model the organization structure, and this step is not a mandatory step provided by the GDPR, but it's important to know how the organization is composed and structured, and which parts are involved in all the data processing activities. The context of this demo, as you can see, is an hospital that is located in a European country. We have called it the Madrid Hospital. In this hospital, there is a COVID-19 patient department to support the COVID-19 emergency situation. So for the evolution of the situation, the hospital is also involved in the vaccine process for the patient, and these activities are tracked in an internal privacy process. So all the users can reserve the vaccine through the portal hospital website of the organization. So the next step for the organization is to identify all the lists of the record of data processing activity. The scope is to define a register of data processing activities for the organization. Each record can be connected to the organization, but also to a specific department in the organization itself. And also the third party, the external organization, can be involved in the processing activity, and they can be connected as a data controller or data processor. In this example, we will check, for example, that the privacy manager would control who is involved in this processing activity identified by the DPO. The privacy manager can go on the platform, use the team one, and the submenu identification of personal data processing activities, and we will verify the register of the data processing activities. The general medicine department in this demo is data controller for the COVID reservation vaccination process, and as a third party that is involved as a data processor. Then we will see also an example to focus on another article of the GDPR, on the data subject right. Yes, and the data subject right are required by the GDPR from Article 15 until Article 22. This is also an important step for the organization to manage all the data subject rights. So to manage all the requests made by data subject. Each request is coming from a data subject will be connected to a specific data processing activity of the organization and also to a specific department. Okay, now I pass the floor to my colleague Andrea, and we will move on the live demo. Please, Andrea.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Anna-Rita, for your introduction. I'm Andrea Bretagna, and I'm a member of the Mathmind team in the DEFeND project. I'm also the project security officer for the DEFeND project. In this short demo, we focalize our attention on the team number 1, developing a GDPR privacy plan, as Anna-Rita said some seconds ago. And in this menu, it's the first step of the process for the use of the platform. In particular, we focalize our attention in the sub-menu 1.2, identify your data processing activities, but I would like to start from the menu 1.1, Gdpr Self-Assessment, because this is the first step in the use of the organization. If I go to the full organization, we can see the modeling of the organization. We are modeling the Madrid hospital, that it's not a real hospital, and we see some information. I would like to focalize our attention on two important parts in this platform. The department, we can modeling, as Anna-Rita said a few minutes ago, the first step is modeling the department. In this case, we are modeling two different departments, the Department of Engineering in the Madrid hospital and the General Medicine department. After the step after this is to execute the assessment, but we would like to focalize our attention on the record processing activity functionality in the platform. In the same way, we can modeling the third parties. In this case, we are modeling only one third party, that is a Lisbon Diagnostic Center, and we have other information in this, about this third party. Now I come back to the menu number 1, and we come back to the record processing activity functionality. If I go to the menu, okay, this is the functionality for the record of processing activities. This is the list of the processing activities that we are modeling in this hospital. We are modeling only 5 processing activities. And in this dashboard, we have some key information for the processing, the identification number, the name of processing, the role of the organization in this processing, and other important information like the criticality of these processing activities. If I go to, for example, COVID reservation vaccination, we have the information related to these processing activities, and these information are related to the requirement in the Article 30 of the GDPR. And there is the identification number of the processing activities, the name of the processing activities, the role of the organization in this processing activity, the purpose, and so on. There are also another important information that it's the legal basis for this processing. We have the list of the legal basis for this processing. And we have other information, for example, another important information, the data retention period for this processing activity. Another important information is the connection of this processing to the asset in the organization. If I click to this selection button, we have the full list of the asset in the organization, and this list is connected with the asset inventory in the organization. And in this case, we have two assets linked to this processing activity, but I can add another one, for example, to the same processing activities. This means that these assets are involved in the processing activities. If I come back Another important information is the type of data processing. In the first step of in the menu 1.1 is selected the full list of the type of personal data that are processed in the organization. In this moment, I selected the type of data involved in these specific processing activities. Another important information is the transfer data outside the Europe. If I remember well, there is a question in the chat, how the platform track this information, and this is a way that the platform track this information. In this case, I can select this information. The first step is the data transfer outside the European area is selected yes, and in this pop-up I can select the country where are located, where are transferred the data, for example in Brazil. Okay, another important part is in the first step I show you the modeling of the organization, the department and the third party. For each department, for each third party, it's performed data assessment for evaluate the compliance. And if I go to select, I have the list for the department and organization, and I select the general management department. This is the only one department involved in these processing activities. If I select the other department, means that these two departments are involved in these processing activities. I can do the same. There is another information that is connected to a third party, and I can select I have the information related to the third party involved. It's the Lisbon Diagnostic Center, and there is some information. These third party are linked to this processing activity, but I have another important information that is where is processing the data. The data are processing outside the European Economic Area, and in particular it's processing the United States. The information are involving many different teams. In this team we are connected, we have the information outside the European area for the specific processing activity, but we have other or the same information in the other team, if I remember well, the team number 8. Okay, if I can back. In this case, we have only 5 processing activities, but usually in a real organization, there are the list of the processing activities is quite long. And it's important to have a different view. If I go to department, I can select, for example, department engineering. And if I click to apply, I have the list of the processing activities where is involved this department. I can do the same for the other, for the third party. Okay. I would like to show you another couple of important functionality. We can create new processing activities from scratch to create a button, but we can also create a new processing activities through a template. This is a list of the standard processing activities. If I go to create, I have a pre-filled draft information for the processing activities that the analyst can change to personalize this information for the specific organization. And I can produce a report. For example, I can produce a report for a legal basis. And This is the page that shows the legal basis for the processing activities and can also generate a PDF file if I have an audit from the National Data Protection Authority, for example, and I need to create a document that shows this information. Another important functionality is the export of the processing activities. For example, profit reservation vaccination is a critical processing activities, and I can go to export this file in a different format. I can click on export for PIA, and if I click on export for PIA, I go to the next step in the platform, that is the team number 10, if I remember well, where is the functionality for export for support the production of the execution of the privacy impact assessment. We can create another report, for example, the data retention policies, and if I generate the PDF, in this moment the tool are generating live the PDF file. Okay, the platform are working. And sorry, I move to the other monitor. This is the same information in a PDF file. That this is an evidence for an audit. An important information is in the top of this file. It's the information when I create this file. I created this file in this moment, 9:40 a.m. UTC time. This is I created now this file. Okay. I come back. Okay. If we would like to move to the PIA, but just to show you some key information, if I go to the team number 10, I have the same list of the processing activities, and I can export for PIA from this menu. And after that, I can move to the execution of the PIA. That's all. I move the floor to Luis Miguel for the second part of the demo. Thanks.
Thank you, Andrea.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Actually, I'm going to pass the floor to my colleague David, who we're going to use his laptop to make the second part of the live demonstration, and both of us will be speaking. David, please start.
Okay, I hope you can see the screen. So
Yes, you can see.
The presentation is going to to take part of the managed rights of data subjects, where we can see the data subject request management. As you can see, for now, we have the table totally clean because we don't have any data subject request status. But as soon as we go to the demo external website, we can make the example. So the user logs in the platform and goes to enforce his rights. He's going to ask for withdrawal of consent. Just waiting for the services to load. A moment, please.
This is an external site. That's a site of the organization that is completely independent of the site of the DEFeND platform. So what we're seeing here is an external site that the organization, each organization will provide to their clients or data subjects.
So as you see, I'm going to enforce the right of withdrawal of consent related to the COVID reservation vaccination. So I'll ask to enforce the right. Now I'm going to log out, use another user, for example, user 2. Here we go, enforce the right, ask for data removal. And okay, here we go. Go with reservation vaccination, and I enforce the right as user 2. So log out. So if we go back to the data subject request management, we'll see that we have 2 requests. We have no personal identification of the subject. As you can see, it's only a reference. For us, the data subject is only a reference to the ID of the external website. So the user of the DEFeND platform has only the reference of the subject. From this part, we can filter from types based on the data subject request status, and we can have joint filters regarding this. We can also filter from, for example, nothing, and to, if I say to yesterday, see nothing else. We can also search regarding the ID of the request. So now we are going to make for the next part, which is the user access comes to the data subject request management action, assigns, as you can see, it changed the state and places it in analysis because he's going to add evidence regarding what he has done to the request. Just going to get the ID of the request, so we can follow up the process, manage evidence. So if we paste the ID here, we can see the request info. So we have the withdrawal of consent, when it was created, and the current status of the request. At this moment, we have no evidences. We're going to add one.
Hi, David, could you speak a bit louder?
Okay, sorry. Sorry. So from this moment, we are going to add an evidence. Again, we have the access to the request itself, and we're going to add evidence, browse, choose an evidence, and evidence 1, for example. Just add it. As soon as it's saved, we have the evidence related to the data subject request. We have the evidence here where we can download them, open them, for example. There we go. From this point, we can edit the evidence, always based on the data subject request UUID. As you can see, where you can edit the evidence itself, replace the file, or replace the description. When we are going back to data subject request management and update the flow of the process, replied, for example. Now I'm going to update some status just so we can show you the flow that is shown later. So we finished, we've closed the data subject request. Now we are able to go, for example, to data subject request workflows, go to manage request workflow, get the ID. We get now, again, the information of the request, and we can see the workflow history related to the processing activity. And this is the flow for the data subject request.
One note here, we didn't create a flow during this presentation, but the flows can actually be added. Different flows can be added to a specific data processing activity, and that is the flow that is going to be executed when a data subject requests, creates a request associated with that data processing activity. So what it means is that different data processing activities can have different workflows defined by the organization, and those will be automatically executed whenever a user of the DEFeND platform is responding to a particular data subject request. And I pass the floor back to you, please.
Okay, thank you. There are a couple of questions coming from the audience. A question is I think for David. It's about why subject ID are different. I think in your presentation you showed the subject IDs.
Yeah, there were two subject IDs. So the first one was from user 1 and the second one was from user 2. So they were actually different data subjects of the same organization. Okay,
I hope that the answer, otherwise please could you react also through the Q&A or the chat, Eugene? Another question from Eugene. I think it was already answered during the demonstration by Andrea. Andrea, have you got the question?
Yes, the question is related in particular to team number 8, how address the case data, the personal data transferred outside or inside the European Economic Area. As I said, I showed during my short demo, the platform can track who is the organization that processes the different data. It's at the internal department, and it's possible that the internal department is located in the European Union or it's located outside the European Union, and the platform track this information. But also we can track the information related to the third party. The third party, it's have a graphic information, a general information for the location. And during my demo, I showed that there is a third party that transfer the data for the COVID reservation vaccination outside the European Economic Area, in particular in the United States of America. The platform support the organization to take to track this information, which data are transferred outside the European Union, who transfer this data, if it's an internal department or it's a third party, external organization. I think that I can answer to the question.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Andrea, for that. Okay, so if we are done with the live demonstration, so let me now introduce. Yeah, we are just in time. Yeah, at 11 we are going to introduce the pilots. So we are going to hear from the real world how the DEFeND platform is going to help organizations to comply with the GDPR. So let me introduce you Marco Rotoloni from Abilab. Please, Marco, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Camillo, and good morning, everyone. I'm Marco Rotoloni. I am the coordinator of the Center of Excellence in Abilab about IT information governance and packages. In DEFeND, I'm the coordinator of the leader of Work Package 5 and the leader of the pilot about the banking sector. Now let me share my screen so I can show my presentation. Okay. So in my speech, I would explain you what were the main benefits about the adoption of the DEFeND platform in the context of the banking.
Marco, sorry to interrupt you. If you can stop your video because it's your voice is breaking up, it could be an issue with the bandwidth. So if you stop your video, it should work better, I think. I hope.
That's
just stop your video. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Now it's better. Okay.
It seems so. Yeah. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay. So pilot description. The banking context was one of the first sector that reacts to the GDPR, developing a lot of initiatives that take a lot of effort between the different banks in the last 2 years. I would say that from a general point of view, banks do all the best they could to get the compliance, also leveraging on their confidence with the data governance issues, because for other regulation in the past, banks were forced to develop internally practice of data governance and optimizing the level of security and management of IT risks. So in this context, in the context of a very mature market, what should be the benefit that DEFeND could give? What is our opinion, the opinion of our banks that we interact with? DEFeND could help in achieving a continuous improvement of the compliance level and getting more and more mature in the adoption of GDPR practices and GDPR principles. That's why banks were very happy to experience the DEFeND platform, and of course it should be a good support to support the GDPR maturity assessment, to identify critical areas and plan the action of improvements. To do this, we involved 2 banks in the testing of the pilot, but a bigger group of banks in defining the requirements and the different steps in building the platform. And we selected some areas to test, trying to experience the value of DEFeND in the real problems that banks now are facing when approaching the GDPR. The first example could be the development of a GDPR privacy plan. Banks are a very complex organization, and it's difficult to coordinate all the activities in an organization so big and so differentiated to achieve compliance. That's why it's important to have a structured approach in defining a roadmap and identifying the priorities. So what should do in this context a privacy expert working together with the enterprise architecture expert and information governance expert? First of all, modeling the organization, understanding how the organization is done and what are the peculiarities of each department, of each section of the organization regarding GDPR adoption. Then interviewing the different departments, understanding what is the level of maturity in GDPR adoption in each department, and having the possibility to have an overview, I would say an aggregate report, to understand which are the areas that deserve more attention in terms of improvement with the GDPR. And so that's what we do, supporting with the work with DEFeND, identifying a sort of reporting structure and an action plan to improve the activities. Another example in which we had some benefits should be the modeling of the register processing activities and the conducting the privacy assessment of risks, generating also the consent types. It's another activities that typically is performed by the privacy office, but it involves different sub part of the organization. And in this way, we could have only one instrument that could put together all the information from the different sections of the organization and realizing an overall view of the processing activities of a bank and their impact in the different processes of a bank. Last example is about data breach notification. Of course, managing data breach and privacy violations are one of the priority of banks. One of the possible instruments to manage this is included in DEFeND, and we experience the possibility to model some critical events inside the platform and identifying the value that could give to the analysis of a privacy expert, but also to the analysis of a security expert in banks. So what should be, how can I summarize the main benefits of this platform? First of all, the possibility to model the GDPR maturity assessment in a complex organization like banks. We are considering organizations that are often done by different departments. Sometimes there are banking groups, so also different, I would say, legal bodies inside the same group. So how can we put together all the information and understand who is going better in compliance and in maturity about the GDPR? This could be a good use of the tool of the platform. The second aspect is, and I want to highlight this, is the modular approach that DEFeND brings out. In the last year, banks developed lots of instruments, lots of tools, lots of practices to govern and to achieve the GDPR compliance. So one of the objectives of the bank is not to start again from scratch in developing a GDPR model. So the modularity of GDPR helps bank in not leveraging on the works that was made before, and using DEFeND only for some specific services, some specific aspect that could be integrated in the put on top to the tool system that we are developing in the last 2 years. This is very important because helps us in having not a big bang approach in building all the compliance model from scratch, but integrating the different parts of DEFeND in as is situation. Last aspect is the privacy by design. So DEFeND could be, in the view of our privacy experts, could be a good way to achieve the compliance by the privacy by design methodology and plan new intervention considering the level of compliance to be reached. I was very brief, but I stayed in my 10 minutes. So if you have some question, please do not hesitate to ask me.
Okay, thank you very much, Marco. Now it's time for Jean-Baptiste Bernard to present his pilot experience with DEFeND. Please, Jean-Baptiste.
Thank you very much, Andrea. So my name is Jean-Baptiste Bernard. So I'm product manager at Gridpocket, the French company specialized in energy. Okay, so first a quick pilot description. So we are a SME. First of all, we provide some mobile and web solutions to utility companies which are going to provide themselves these solutions to their end users. So we provide white label solutions that are going to be customized for different customers. We provide residential and business energy management modules. So it means it's not only for, let's say, citizens, but also for professional customers. And we can have multiple user profiles, such as data analysts, people who are with this energy information are crucial, but also we give access to customer relationship services so they can analyze better their customers. So the one of the biggest purpose of our solutions is to improve the customer satisfaction. So to do that, we optimize the energy usage management, and we also try to optimize the usability. So to do that, we have some smart analytics modules that have been finalized and optimized for years. And we also have some behavioral solutions, gamifications, so the fidelity of our customers is increased. So GDPR is, of course, extremely important for us because we have a lot of data to process and to manage. So we are SME, so we don't have an unlimited money and energy to understand exactly what we have to do and to understand what exactly are the GDPR laws and how to be compliant. So that's why the different platform appeared first as something extremely interesting for us. It was also interesting because with DEFeND there is the possibility to manage the possibility that the company is a third-party company. And that's exactly actually our role. Because as I say, we worked with a utility company that are considered as data controller, and because we process the data of their customers, and sometimes we are completely invisible from these customers, we act only as a data processor. And something very interesting for us is that we were able to test to use the DEFeND platform in this aspect of business model. So we were able to use the DEFeND platform since the beginning of this year. We have been able to use 2 versions of the platform. So as Beatrice explained at the beginning, there are different versions. We were able to work on the on-premise version and the cloud software as a service version of the platform. So what was interesting for us, as I just said, we are able to use the platform as a data processor or actual role. And we also participate to the testing as a data controller, meaning that in this case, we did not choose a real utility company, but we simulated one with a similar access to the data, and to see how, in this case, the different platform could be useful. So we used the platform to test different GDPR aspects that could face us. So we tested it as a data processor or as a data controller. So in the different GDPR themes that are concerned, that are processed by the platform, we separated in two cases. One is the data processor approach that is really linked to what is a grid pocket. So in this case, we tested, of course, what is more linked to a third-party management, and with a special importance for what is the management of privacy incidents and data breach, and also the management of user consents. And for data controller aspects, so what we worked on is more different tasks. There are some like the development of GDPR privacy plan, the implementation of privacy by design. We also were interested in testing the anonymization and the de-identification tools, and also the teams like privacy risk assessments and the management of user consents in the case of the data controllers. So we were able to test for now different user stories that we firstly defined. So we did some of the data controller and some of the data processor ones. So we were able to successfully test this. To summarize what is coming from this test and from the different user stories that we were able to do for now. So we saw some key interests that are very important for now for us as a SME. Some of them is that with DEFeND, we can have a very quick knowledge about our compliance status and the future action points. That's important. The DEFeND platform is very exhaustive and allowed to be very complete in the different tests that can be done by the GDPR compliance. So it's important given a lot of tools will be necessary and not affordable for a SME company to analyze. So it's also help for us to manage the user consents. That's very important. That's actually what is the most important for us in the relations that we have with the data controller main company as a data processor. Also, the guide and the tool that we can use in case of data breach is something useful for us, given especially the not great knowledge that we have about this before. And finally, the possibility to report all the different actions that Gdpr is doing towards the GDPR compliance and to be compliance are something very useful when we want to show some documents, for instance, to the data controller company. And also there is a very rich training content that I think is extremely important. As I say, it's good to have some synthetic information like this when it will be difficult for SME people who have a limited amount of time and money. So in conclusion, following this use of the platform, so we think that this is a strong plus for any SME company that would like to ensure its GDPR compliance, this use of this platform, which is very complete, as I said. And for now, for what we tested now, we think that given the current version of the on-premise version, maybe the as-a-service version will be more adapted to SME, given the minimum setup and configuration required, and so the facility and the quick way to install the platform. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Jean-Baptiste, for your presentation. Okay, now it's time to have a quick virtual break. We will be back at 11:30. So let's have a coffee or a cup of water, anything you'd like. See you later. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome back to the final presentation of the DEFeND project. Okay, let's continue with the pilot's presentations. Andres, are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay, please.
Okay, yes, one second. Okay. Okay. You tell me, please. You can.
Just a few seconds, the presentation is starting.
Yes.
Okay, now we can see it.
Now? Okay, yeah. Thank you very much, Camilo. I'm very, very happy and very excited to be here, in, not only in this project that has been very wonderful for us and for the hospital. My name is Andres Castillo. I'm head of the Department of Technological Innovation, Pediatric Technological Innovation. And we've been part of this amazing project from the beginning, trying to give our requirements that, regarding data protection in healthcare sector. As I suppose that you will well know, being in this COVID situation, that hospitals are very crucial institution and very different from other social sectors, let's say industry. Organizations in the health and social care sector, much like other organizations, hold personal data about their employees, suppliers, and business contacts. However, we differ in the fact that a large proportion of patient data is health data. That is part of the GDPR's special category of data. As such, this data is subject to strict regulations under this legislation. And on the other hand, data breaches in healthcare settings can have catastrophic consequences for organizations and individuals alike. Healthcare providers can incur in crippling fines, and the rights, freedoms, and privacy of patients can be impaired. So this issue about data protection is very crucial to all of us. So let me first introduce you to the context of this pilot. Yes. Okay. So we are the Niño Jesús Hospital in Madrid. We are a very old hospital from 1870. So I think this, if I'm not wrong, informed, we are the second oldest pediatric hospital in Europe after Bambino Gesù in Rome. It's not a big hospital. It's only 250 beds, and it's the only public pediatric hospital in Spain. There's another one that is private. So as public hospital, we are part of a bigger organization. In Spain, the organization of national health system is very different from other countries. We are hospitals. We are not autonomous institutions, so many of our functions are integrated in the big regional organization. So, like, for example, cybersecurity, physical security, or data protection, we depend on the regional government. Of course, on major national regulatory frameworks and European international regulatory frameworks. Anyway, we are special in the sense that we are only pediatric hospitals, so health data from minors is our daily work. So it's very is very sensible for us, this question about health data and how we have no other choice than protect children and their data, because they are vital for the future. They are so, fortunately, most children survive diseases like cancer, so it's vital for the future if they can protect their own clinical history. We are we carry up many advanced researches in many pediatric areas, in which we are specialized, like T cells, TCAR, genetic advanced therapies. That mean that we have to produce medicaments inside. We are like, for personalized medicine, we are like a small pharma, and that's of course a big source of worries about data protection and cybersecurity. The fact that we are a pediatric hospital has allowed us to carry out this pilot, because, as you well know, fortunately, children haven't suffered from COVID, so we haven't been so stressed like the rest of hospitals, because we have been, children doesn't, because of the immune system, they haven't developed any special diseases when they get COVID. So we've been able to carry out the pilot of these projects, and we are very, very happy about that. And everybody, while we were testing this pilot, has been very satisfied with the outcome of the project. So we've been intent on testing every one of the tools of the platform, DEFeND platform, any of the themes that cover a big part of GDPR tasks that we have to comply to, like everyone, but especially as a hospital. I don't know, every theme is very, very important, very crucial. So I can mention, for example, third parties management, because we are a small hospital. So, for example, we have a laboratory, but we have not possibility of making genetic analysis. And now it's been more and more important for many therapies. And there are many providers that act as third parties. The management of consents, of course, not for minors below 12 years old. It's not a question. Well, we have to manage the consent of their parents or the tutors, and that's of course a big issue. So we've seen that this platform can really help us in managing those consents. Well, making the reports for demonstrating the compliance of GDPR, for data protection regulation. It's proof in the text that is very, very, very useful for us. The anonymization of data is of course being found by everyone, not only the DPO or the IT personnel, but also by the clinics that perform a lot of clinical essays. That is very, very useful for us to have a tool like that installed in our systems. Because I don't have so much time to go over all the things and the tools, just to stress that I think, well, it's an engineer point of view, but I call the dashboard a knowledge management tool, because you know, it's when you see the dashboard, you can remember all the tasks that had to be cared for, and so I think it's very, very useful to have a dashboard like that in one place, because normally, or at this moment, at least each of the tasks, having the organizational information that is very complex, because you can see in a hospital, even if it's not so big like us, but we have many, I mean, 20, 30 departments. So it's difficult to have all the information in one place. So normally it's in many places. So each service has its own register of processing activities, of the type of data they are using. Some, well, in this moment it's very difficult. So it's not, there is not a real control of how many processing activities they are running in the hospital. And in the running of the test of the pilot of the DEFeND platform, I have been seeing all the time that it's been a way of training personnel in data protection and cybersecurity. So many things that people say, oh, I see now that you have that's important. I have to be careful about this point or the other. I have to, once you can you have a place to register everything, and then see the reports, and the graphical reports is very important. You can see here healthcare system. Healthcare providers, healthcare sector is very different from other sectors. You can see now in the pandemic situation, because we have like a big, how to say, a big power. Let's say. I hope there's no doctors here who can get angry with me, but I mean it's not. The doctors have the knowledge and the power in a hospital, so they have so many things to worry about that cybersecurity, data protection is difficult for them to tackle. So the training aspect of the dashboard, I think, it's been very important in the running of the pilot. So I think it's been a good experience for the hospital. I've been trying to engage many people from many levels of the organization, like IT personnel or nurses or doctors or accountancy, storage management, private management. So they can see that this project has been very useful for the hospital, and that a tool like DEFeND platform is very necessary in the future. Although we have not the power to buy a tool like that, because security and data protection have to come from the upper levels, from the political levels in a public system. But I think everybody has been very happy about the outcome of the project and the usefulness and the usability of the platform. And looking into the future, because as you know, we are in a turning point in not only in culture, society, but also in healthcare system. In this year, well, there are issues that have been recognized by the healthcare industry as the major challenges in healthcare sector, because as you can, if you don't know by your own experience, but from the news or comments, this COVID pandemic has been a big push forward for many technologies that were going very slowly, being difficult to adopt. But now, telehealth, for example, I suppose that it's not only here in Spain, but also all over Europe and all over the world, that is coming to stay here in healthcare. So telehealth means that cybersecurity and data protection is a crucial issue. So at that point, a tool like the DEFeND platform will be most necessary and will be spread in many hospitals, clinics, or primary care centers, or even in the assurance sectors, because it's data protection and cybersecurity in the telehealth medicine, or personalized medicine, or precision medicine is very is most necessary. Big data, that is the basis for the future a future medicine based on data. It's a big issue. Together with artificial intelligence, and in that case, of course, data protection is a big issue. And then patient medicine is transforming into a patient-centered process. So the patient experience is being more and more important, even in public big institutions like us, where the doctors were the main actors, but now the patient will have a word to say, and of course they want to see their data, health data, protected even more. The parents, they are very worried about the health data of their children. They trust not so much the doctors and the the hospital. They want to have the control of the children's health data. And then, well, the health care sector is a big industry, and there's a lot of transaction going over and all the system, and now with even now when it's so difficult to travel from one place to another place, we experience issues about people who, for example, who get locked down in one place and their health data is in another place, another city, another country, and now they have to get the clinical electronic records, and that kind of process will be most normal when we hopefully we get back our mobility freedom, and we will having a lot of stakeholders that manage all the processes and the money involved in health care treatment.
Andres, I don't want to interrupt you, but
sorry.
Yeah,
I cannot see my blog, so
yeah, we got also another presentation.
Just to say goodbye, and I'm very sad that this project is ending now. I hope we can develop this wonderful tool in the future. Sorry for.
Oh, but thank you very much for your very interesting presentation. It was a very good feedback for the DEFeND project. But you know, we have time issues. So now thank you again, Andres. Now it's time for Georgie Simeonov from the municipality of Pestera. Please.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, I hope you are hearing me well. I have some internet issues, but apologies for this. I will share my screen now.
George, if I can suggest you can stop your video, so maybe your voice, we hear your voice better.
Okay, thank you, Camilo. Thank you very much, everyone, for being part of this nice event. My name is Georgie Simeonov. I work for the municipality of Pestera from Bulgaria as a project manager. We are one of the 4 pilots in DEFeND project, so I will present our main thoughts and impressions from the platform. Just a quick introduction about us. We are a typical central public administration. Our municipality is located in the south central part of Bulgaria, and we are part of Pazarchik region. It consists of 12 municipalities in total, and our municipality is one of these 12 ones. The population is about 18,000 citizens. It's not a large municipality. As a typical local administration, we develop and implement various policies like economic, social, environment, etc. Of course, we provide specific public services to our citizens, and protection of personal data is a topical issue in our everyday activities. In the frame of providing these services to our citizens, we collect a large volume of personal data, and privacy and data privacy and security are among the main priorities. This is why we joined this nice EU project. About the platform, we tried to test as much teams as possible. These are the teams which we are testing. Just quickly, I will go through the teams which we are testing since a few weeks. Of course, team 1, the platform which helps us to undertake a self-assessment of GDPR readiness, showing the compliance status and developing a GDPR action plan. The analysis of the compliance level is done by using a DEFeND platform. The platform guides the municipality and provides recommendations, actions on how to reach GDPR compliance step by step. Team 2 helps us to create a third-party management program, of course, in the frame of providing services to our citizens, sometimes interact with third parties, so it's very important for us. Team 4 assists us in managing privacy incidents and breach notification. As a result, the platform assists us in registering data breaches and manage data incidents and data breaches and provide the required notification process. Some very interesting tools were deployed within this team. For me personally, it was very interesting how new such new tools which tackle issues like data security and some threats, etc. Team 5 helps us to develop a privacy by design modeling of a concrete service which we provide to our citizens. Also, we test the anonymization within Team 6. Of course, we store a large local database.
Georgie, sorry, yes. Could you speak louder or closer to the microphone? Yeah.
Okay, I'll try to speak closer to the microphone. Sorry if you hear me well, bad. It's probably because of the internet.
No, now it's better. Now it's better.
Great. Team 7 helps us to meet the regulatory reporting requirements. We have to identify just the supervisory authority in Bulgaria, introduce some contact details in it, introduce DPO data, so that the process of reporting and notification is done automatically. And of course, Team 11, which supports us in consent management activities, search for user consent, manage user consent. Of course, each time we provide services to our citizen, we have to ask for their consent. Just summarizing all of this, just sharing some thoughts from us. Before joining this EU project, the municipality faced the following issue. Data of citizens coming from different sources and from different departments was stored in the premises of the municipality. This led to the creation of a large database of citizens' data, because the municipality must provide constantly various public services to its citizens, like issuing a birth certificate. These are very specific services, like issuing a birth certificate, marriage certificates, address registration, etc. Constantly and temporary. The DEFeND platform assists us in supervising the transfer and use of this data inside and outside the municipality, helping our data protection officer, our management staff and citizens to make sure that their data is always used according to the law and to the consent of data subject. Some benefits for us, I listed just 3 of them, but of course there are many benefits, but just the most important ones. As a public administration and data controller, the municipality must constantly provide proofs to its citizens for complying with all requirements set in the GDPR. And by introducing the DEFeND platform, the municipality increases citizens' confidence in data processing, collection, and storage. We recently introduced a digital system to provide electronic services to our citizens, and we hope that DEFeND will contribute to enlarge the citizens' confidence, and they start to use our electronic services more and more. Another benefit for us is that the team of our experts who participates in the project, they increase their expertise and knowledge on very specific issues and topics like GDPR, and also on secure digitalization. We deployed many tools on our premises. Also, another very important benefit for us as a public administration, of course, increasing efficiency of public spending is very important issue. So for us, when we use this platform, of course, it leads to saving of expert staff efforts, which leads to financial savings. So this one is very important also for us. And that was from my point of view, a very short, brief presentation. Of course, if some attendees have questions, I will be happy to answer you. Thank you very much, Camilo.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Georgie. Okay, thank you for your feedback about DEFeND. Okay, now it's time for our panel. Yeah, I'm very glad to introduce now the panel. The panel is about achieving GDPR compliance, past, present, future. And I can pass now the floor to the moderator of the panel, so she can introduce you the panelists and also some more about this panel. Please, Angeliki.
Good morning, everyone. I'm also very glad to be here. My name is Angeliki Tsouchou, and I'm an assistant professor in the Ionian University. I'm acting today as the moderator of this panel, and I will introduce first our speakers, our participants of the panel. So in the order that they will be presenting. Sorry if I don't pronounce all the names correctly. Apologies for that. I will do my best. So we will be starting with Dr. Agnieszka Warzik, who is a policy officer in the unit Cybersecurity and Digital Privacy in the European Commission. She's working mainly on e-privacy, and in the past she has acted as Justice and Home Affairs Counselor in the Polish Permanent Representation to the EU, and as an advisor to a member of the European Parliament responsible for data protection, cybersecurity and home affairs. She has also worked for the Ministry of the Interior of Poland as a chief expert in the EU unit, in which later she became the head of unit. And she's holding a PhD in political science. We also have with us Dr. Prokopis Drogaris, who is a cybersecurity expert within the European Union Agency for Cybersecurity, or well known as ENISA. He is working in the areas of privacy and data protection, cybersecurity certification and trust services. He has been involved in several European research projects in information security within the Hellenic Ministry of Citizens Protection, and has held teaching assistant positions in universities He is an author of several scientific publications and has served as a member of program and organizing committees in international scientific conferences. We also have with us Dr. Vasilis Zourkadis, who has been working as the Secretariat's Director of the Hellenic Data Protection Authority since 2004. Before that, he been the head of Auditors Department in the same authority. He holds a diploma in electrical engineering, master's in informatics, and a PhD on security of computer networks. He's a founding member and current president of the Hellenic Scientific